bringing you the latest news from Coronado Athletics. This is the Mustang Fan Zone podcast from 100.7 The Score.
Welcome into the Mustang Fan Zone. I am Rob Breaux alongside girls basketball coach Ashley James. Ashley, how you doing?
I'm great. How are you?
Good. We were talking before the show started, and January kind of got away from us here. This season's been fast. Three games left.
3 games left. Yeah, it's pretty crazy how fast it's flown. With us, it's crazy because we started district in November, and we're like, oh my gosh, as many district games as we've played, it still flew by. Yeah.
3 games left. What growth have you seen from your team this year as you try to get through this tough district schedule?
Yeah, an incredible amount, honestly. The last, I would say, since New Year's Eve, we upset Lubbock High on New Year's Eve, and then like this past Friday, had a great game against Plainview. It was a battle down to the end, and so we've shown so much growth, and you can see our team really putting it together right now. And it's one of those things you're like, oh man, it's a little bit too late, for us. So we put it together probably beginning of January, and we've seen that, so we've seen a lot of growth. Yeah.
You have some seniors. Obviously, we'll talk about some seniors as we go through, but a young team.
Yeah.
So how important is it to kind of say, all right, we've done that, we've gotten through this year, but kind of what can we take into next year?
Yeah, we had 3 sophomores starting for a majority of the season, and that is a lot of growing pains with your starting 3 sophomores, and a 4th sophomore that about mid-season started playing significant minutes. So, bringing back thinking to next year with those 4 sophomores and the experience they have now with 2 full years under their belt, and then a couple juniors who are really good. 3 juniors that are really good role players and kind of fit in. Returning 7 players is going to be a lot of growth, and a couple of incoming freshmen that look to be pretty solid. So this team is going to be ready to go, I think, next year. I'm just sorry to our seniors we didn't quite put that thing together quite as soon as we wanted.
It's always that time of year you start having senior nights and everything else. Do you get emotional every year? Do you have the... Because you build relationships, and it's so much more than just basketball, especially at the high school level. Mm-hmm. Not trying to trigger your emotions here.
No, completely fair. Yeah, it is emotional, and it's fun. Like I've got 2 kids. One of the seniors, this is our 3rd year coaching her, and then 2 of them, all 4 years. And so, I look at those 2 and I'm like, I better be at their weddings, down the line. Like right. I love these kids, and our 3 seniors are 3 really special kids. So yeah, the relationships that you build and what I get to look forward to and watch them in college and all the things. Yeah, it's exciting.
Do you have players who have been in the program and have left? You keep in touch? Is it?
Yeah, I've got quite a few. Yeah, for sure. So we had the couple that signed 2 years ago. They signed to go play college basketball. I've kept up with them really well, and they're doing great. I have another kid who I only got to coach 2 years at Coronado from when I got the job, and she calls me every other week asking for advice. So we stay in touch with a lot of those kids, and that, like I said, yeah, that's definitely the most special part of the job for sure.
So you have Shiloh Blackwell. She's been great. How much of her and the other 2 seniors meant to you this year? As you've obviously you've talked about the youth movement. Mm-hmm. You're preparing for the next couple of years, but what have they meant to you and your team as they kind of are still leaders and trying to move forward this year?
Yeah, absolutely. Shiloh's come so far as a leader. I don't think that she was naturally born a leader. She was naturally born a very good basketball player, but she's grown so much in that leadership role. The last couple, like Friday night, she looked freaking phenomenal, putting up 27 points, organizing our team. She just has really come along as the total package. Jayla McCutcheon, Jayla is the glue. She's the heart and soul of our team, and we would not be where we are right now without Jayla. As far as how far sophomores have come, that's thanks to Jayla McCutcheon. And then Addison Andrews. Addie is one that I begged her to play basketball. Begged her when she was in 8th grade. She's a volleyball person. She's hopefully going to go play volleyball at the next level. And but I begged her to, and she stuck through it, and she stuck it out. And she is the best culture kid you could ask for. She comes to practice every single day ready to work. She makes her teammates better, and that's just the spark that she provides for us. So yeah, they're 3 really special kids.
Talk about multi-sport athletes a lot in football recruiting. Mm-hmm. How important is it in girls basketball to have kind of different skill sets, and you get them late maybe out of volleyball season, but how important is it to have players that are kind of committed to multiple things?
I think it's great. Like, I know for me, looking back as a kid, I loved being a multi-sport athlete, and I really advocate for that with our kids, and even especially at Coronado too. Like, if our programs are going to be as successful as we want, we need multi-sport kids. And I do think it also develops different skill sets. I think footwork develops and all these different things, and also just mental toughness and a little bit of grit, being able to do 2 full seasons. Like there's some adversity that those challenges that they face, which is great for us.
Especially back to back, you don't get the break. You get some off season.
They got to jump right in. Yeah. I give them like 1 day off, and I'm like, all right, we'll see y'all tomorrow.
Yeah, hey, we've been practicing for 2 weeks. Come and join us.
Yep.
Let's see. You played a tough one Friday against Plainview. Your last 2 losses, I don't want to bring this up too much, but just a combined 6 points.
Yeah.
So you talk about that growth and getting close and coming on late in the season. How can you finish strong in the next 3 games?
Well, I think tomorrow Caprock is a game that we want to clear. Our idea is we want to clear our bench in the sense with minutes. We want all 10 players to have a lot of fun tomorrow night. And if we come to play, we're a better team than Caprock. If we come to play, we should have some fun tomorrow night. And I think that'll feel good after those last 2, some heartbreakers. And then Friday for us, I think the biggest motivation for us is we already beat Lubbock High once. Nobody expects us to beat them again. And on top of it, we might hold them out of the playoffs. So, for my kids, it's a little bit of a rivalry. So for us, I think it's, hey, I know we've had these close games. Like the Lubbock Cooper game was absolutely heartbreaking to lose when you're up 4 with a minute left. We made a couple bad decisions. They hit a 3 with 15 seconds left on the clock. It's like just heartbreakers for your kids. So hopefully we can turn that around and say, hey, even though we've had those, let's find some success here this week, have some fun tomorrow, and then Friday, let's go upset Lubbock High and hold them out of the playoffs.
I had that written down. We'll talk about that more as we get some rivalries going on here. We'll talk about that more. We've got Brent Palmer later on in the show, so we'll have both perspectives on that one as we go through today. All right, it is the Mustang Fan Zone. We've got one more segment coming up with Ashley James on the other side on 100.7 The Score.
Diving headfirst into Coronado athletics. You're listening to the Mustang Fan Zone on 100.7 The Score on the 100.7 The Score mobile app.
It is the Mustang Fan Zone. Rob Breaux here with Ashley James, the head coach of the girls basketball team. We talked about, a couple of close losses, but a win in there as well. Beat Paladuro. Looking at the schedule coming up, 3 games left. A game tomorrow night against Caprock. You talked about that one. Let's get into it a little further. You beat them 53-36 in the first one. What do you take from that game plan to bring tomorrow night?
I expect to kind of run a lot of the same system against them. For us, we were kind of like, if we just ran our offense, executed well, we got the looks that we wanted. We're a lot deeper than them on the bench, I think, so we'll get to press quite a bit, which is kind of fun for our kids. We loved when we get to press teams because they don't have quite as good a guard play. We can't press some of the teams in our district, but we can press them, and so that usually lets our kids have a little bit of fun too and get up and running in transition quite a bit. Like I said, we'd love to be able to play all 10 players a lot, and I think that's when we kind of play our best basketball, honestly. So we're looking to have a little fun with it, get up and down, and like I said, if anything, just let my kids breathe a little bit. We've been so uptight for so long trying to get some big wins and keep our name in the playoff talk, so it should be a fun one.
In high school basketball at this level, do you just kind of run what you run, or do you implement game by game? Obviously you're scouting and doing all that, but is it mostly just what you do? Well,
it kind of depends on the year, because it depends on the type of kids you have and how, what's their basketball IQ level like. A couple years ago when we were really solid, we used scouting reports very intensely as far as we would adjust and have different looks and different things. The team I have right now with so much youth on it, it's a little bit more me scouting and not necessarily giving them as much information. And so it's more like, hey, adjusting us as coaches, what can we do as a staff to help our kids make the right reads on both ends of the floor without overwhelming them with too much information. And then we adjust, honestly, year to year as far as offenses go, because I just believe in high school, you have what you have. You're not recruiting those kids. And so you got to be able to adjust a little bit and figure out, hey, like we got rid of an offense last year and we said, nope, that ain't going to work with this group. So this year we came in, ran some different sets, and that's helped quite a bit.
So you have that game Tuesday. Then, as you mentioned, Friday. Have you talked to your team about the importance of the game and keeping them out of the playoffs? And
I've talked to the seniors a little bit because
Okay.
I know the seniors would understand kind of the gravity of that. And I know, especially with Lubbock High having so many seniors on their roster. So some of my kids, like Shyla and Addie, like Addie's played against them for 4 years. You know what I mean? So I know that they will understand quickly. So I did mention it to them. And then with the young ones, it's hopefully a little motivation of, hey, they've got 5, 6 seniors on that roster. Like, this would be a big deal to keep them out of the playoffs. So like I said, that's kind of the motivation. I don't think I'll have any problem getting them up for it because rivalry games are fun. They're always fun. So hopefully that's kind of a natural motivator too.
have the first win there, and you called it a bit of an upset. How did that go down, and was it a surprise to you? Did you feel good about it going in?
Because I kind of throughout December kind of could see we would put things together in flashes. Like we went to the Burleson tournament early December, and we showed a couple games where we were like, oh wow, we can play with some people and we can do some things. And then we kind of had it. We were just a roller coaster. We were so up and down. My team had a hard time coming together sometimes. Like we didn't fully show team until New Year's Eve, and it was so fun that it was Lubbock High that we finally put a full 32 minutes together. It wasn't just 16. It wasn't 24. We put 32 minutes together. And I think we surprised Lubbock High. And so, looking at our scores at that point, like they were considered the better team than us, and we jumped on them quickly, and they kind of, to me, they just got flat. Like they didn't have that punch back that we expected them to have. And so that was my kids were, I think they were pretty hungry at that point too. It'd been rough. It's been a tough stretch at that point. And so my kids kind of had that little taste of it, and they ran with it.
Now, it's not a long road trip, but it is a bit of a road trip.
Right.
When you have these kind of inner city games and you're going across town, does that change the travel at all? Do you kind of keep the same, hey, we get in the bus, we go over there?
Yeah, I try to keep it the
this far
same.
Time.
Yeah, I try to keep it the same just because my mindset is like, I'm a little superstitious too. So I'm like, we got to have shoot around the way it is. We got to do things the way that they are, kind of keep them consistent. So yeah, we'll keep it as consistent as we can.
All right, 2 big games coming up for you, and then a third to finish off the regular season. Thanks for coming in.
Thank you.
Appreciate you. That's Ashley James, the Mustang Fan Zone. Up next, we'll have Coach Tony Wagner, the boys basketball coach for Estacado, and the Matadors Fan Zone after this on 100.7 The Score.